let's dive right into this. Welcome to this explainer, where we're going to peel back the layers of one of the fastest growing industries in history and uncover exactly how the money actually flows. Look, we hear about AI breakthroughs every single day, right? We're constantly told how it's reshaping the global economy. But underneath all that everyday hype, there's this fascinating, kind of cutthroat financial reality hiding in plain sight. And honestly, understanding it is absolutely crucial to grasping the entire future of tech. So, you've probably asked yourself this massive question. I know I did when I first started using these platforms. If so many of the most powerful AI tools out there are completely free to use, how on earth are companies like OpenAI, Google, Anthropic, and Microsoft making billions of dollars? I mean, it seems like magic, doesn't it? But actually, it's a brilliantly orchestrated business ecosystem. So let's start by looking at the freemium model that you and I probably interact with every single day. All right, first up, subscriptions, APIs, and enterprise solutions. The journey of an AI dollar usually kicks off with a pretty stark contrast. You've got the basic free tier that pulls everyone in versus the highly lucrative premium subscriptions. Just think about your own workflow for a second. You start with basic access, and it's great. It's fast, it's super helpful, but then you hit a usage limit. Or you suddenly realize, hey, I need early access to those new features or vastly better reasoning capabilities. That is exactly where premium tiers like ChatGPT Plus, Gemini Advanced, or Claude Pro step in. By converting just a tiny fraction of their hundreds of millions of free users into paying monthly subscribers, these companies instantly lock in a massive, highly predictable stream of recurring cash. But, consumer subscriptions are literally just the tip of the iceberg here. The real volume, that comes from APIs. Instead of spending billions trying to build custom models from scratch, developers and businesses can just plug these existing AI brains directly into their own apps, and they pay a fraction of a cent per token, which are basically the foundational units of AI text and data. This is the invisible engine powering all those customer support chatbots, data analysis tools, and smart coding assistants you see popping up everywhere. Let's look at how that actually plays out in real time. Say a user types a prompt into a third-party app. Maybe it's a travel planner or a language learning app. That app instantly fires off a token request to the AI provider's servers behind the scenes. The app developer then pays a tiny microtransaction for that processing. It's just an incredibly elegant, high-volume system. Every single time you use an AI feature inside one of your favorite mobile apps, it triggers this silent, continuous cascade of revenue for the AI provider in the background. And moving beyond just individual developers, large organizations are paying absolute top dollar for enterprise solutions. We're talking massive, private, highly secure deployments here. Big corporations literally cannot risk their proprietary code, financial data, or trade secrets leaking out to train public AI models. So they pay a massive premium for private, ring-fenced AI copilots to make their teams faster, automated systems to instantly process mountains of legal paperwork, and hyper-efficient customer service tools. But wait, this business-to-business ecosystem goes even deeper. AI companies are also raking in cash by charging businesses to customize or fine-tune models on their own highly specific industry data. Add in massive tech integration partnerships, incredibly lucrative model licensing agreements where a company's essentially just renting the core technology, and even training data marketplaces. And, well, you've got a vast, interconnected web where the transaction sizes absolutely skyrocket. Oh, and we definitely can't forget advertising. Protect giants like Google and Microsoft, who already rely heavily on ads. AI is a serious multiplier. Because AI fundamentally improves how search engines understand human language, it leads to vastly better, much more intuitive recommendations. And what does that mean at the end of the day? It directly boosts targeted ad revenue. The AI is optimizing the exact algorithms that put the most relevant products right in front of your eyes at exactly the right moment. Okay, moving on to Section 2, the cloud infrastructure goldmine. So all of those software services, consumer apps, APIs, and enterprise tools, they have to run on physical hardware somewhere, right? If there's one core concept you take away from this explainer today, make it this. Renting AI computing power is the modern equivalent of selling picks and shovels during a gold rush. The major cloud providers are earning just astonishing amounts of money simply by renting out the immense computing power needed to run all these systems. Whether an AI startup becomes a billion-dollar unicorn or totally goes bust in 6 months, they still had to pay the cloud provider for the computing power just to try. It's a ridiculously lucrative and stable position to hold in what is otherwise a pretty volatile market. Which brings us to Section 3, the hidden costs of AI. Looking at all those revenue streams,
You might be thinking these companies are just swimming in pure profit. But generating revenue isn't just about padding the bottom line for them. It's an absolute survival necessity. Just look at this fundamentally brutal reality on the screen. Billions of dollars. We aren't talking about plugging a couple of extra servers into a closet here. Training a single state-of-the-art frontier model can cost hundreds of millions of dollars in a matter of months. It is nation-state levels of capital expenditure just to stay in the race. If you aren't spending billions, you are already falling behind.
So, where do those billions actually go? Well, think of these as the raw materials of AI. First, hardware. We're talking highly specialized GPUs that can cost upwards of $30,000 or $40,000 a piece, and you need clusters of tens of thousands of them to train a top-tier model. Then, energy. These data centers devour electricity, literally rivaling the power consumption of small cities. You've also got this fierce, relentless bidding war for top-tier engineering talent. And finally, the sprawling, custom-built, liquid-cooled facilities just to house and maintain the whole shebang.
All right, let's wrap things up with Section 4, the future of AI revenue.
Because those computing costs are scaling up so aggressively, the current business models aren't going to sustain the industry forever. Looking ahead, the big money is going to flow from entirely new avenues. We're moving way beyond simple chatbots and heading towards autonomous AI agents, software that doesn't just answer your questions, but actively goes out and executes complex, multi-step tasks for you. Imagine paying for an autonomous developer that writes, tests, and deploys code while you're fast asleep. We're also looking at completely revolutionized AI search, massive investments bringing AI brains into physical robotics, and hyper-specialized solutions for fields like medicine, law, and complex manufacturing.
So, to summarize everything we've unpacked in this explainer today, the AI business model is not just one simple thing. It's this massive, multi-layered revenue stack. It starts at the top with consumer subscriptions, builds incredible density with developer APIs and deep enterprise solutions, relies heavily on massive cloud services for the heavy lifting, and supercharges itself through improved advertising and strategic licensing. It is a highly diversified, deeply interconnected money-making machine.
And peeling back all those layers leads us directly to this defining reality of the modern tech landscape. The real gold rush isn't just using AI, it's building the critical infrastructure, the foundation, and the services that absolutely everyone else relies on. The companies controlling the infrastructure and the APIs, those are the ones truly cashing in on this revolution.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want you to consider this final question. Which AI business model do you think will ultimately dominate the future? Will highly capable autonomous agents end up taking all the margin? Or will the massive cloud infrastructure providers simply eat everything? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and we'll see you in the next deep dive.